Hey, it's Friday Fun Facts, and this is my second episode of bringing this information to you. And today we're going to talk about, from the Georgia Real Estate Commission, Rule 520-1-09, which is advertising. And I think across the board we see more issues with advertising not being properly taken care of by licensees across the state of Georgia than probably any other thing. That's just again my opinion, but the definition of advertising is any manner, method, or activity by which a licensee, through the use of any media, makes known to the general public about real estate for sale, rent, lease, or exchange. So some examples of that would be billboards, radios, video, television, flyers, social media, magazines, newspaper, just anything that you would be doing advertising in would be covered under the definition of media. It's very important that real estate agents, licensees, never in their advertising misleads or gives inaccurate information and material facts and misrepresents that particular property. So it's very important that we always advertise exactly what it is that we're trying to sell and convey to the public. All advertising by associate brokers, salespersons, and community association managers must be under the direct supervision of their broker and the name of the firm. And so let's talk about advertising of real estate property. We must always have written permission of the owner to be able to advertise their property, and we do that through our exclusive listing agreement. We still have to disclose the fact and the name of the listing firm unless the listing firm has actually expressly agreed in writing to waive those clear disclosures. So when we take a listing, the listing agreement through the Georgia Association of Realtors automatically, through the verbiage, gives us permission from the owner to be able to actually advertise their property. Let's talk about one that I see a lot of issues with. Is internet advertising. And basically, when we're talking about internet advertising, we're either talking about on websites or we're talking about social media. So let's also remember that when you're doing any kind of advertising on social media or website advertising, you have to disclose the name and telephone number of the licensee's firm on every viewable web page or website except as herein otherwise provided. A licensee shall provide a direct link to, for example, to an MLS. So in this case, my example, Georgia MLS, if you list a piece of property you've got listed and you put that out on Facebook, you can tie that directly to a link where a consumer can click one time and it goes straight to that listing on Georgia MLS. This next topic I want to talk about, where internet advertising is concerned, is so crucial, is that when you list a piece of property on Facebook, for example, and that property sells, sometimes we forget to go down and either change that status on that post to sold or take that post completely down. And what happens is, if you forget to do that, you're now advertising the new buyer's property for sale. And that's not right, because again, we don't have written permission from that new buyer who just purchased that property. So make sure that when you actually do list property on social media, that the Real Estate Commission says that you must update or remove that listing within 30 days, or you can be subject to a pretty serious fine. It's usually like $400 and probably 3 hours of license law. So keep that in mind. In the advertising of specific real estate for sale, when you see a sign out there on the property by the street, the licensee always has to have the name of the firm and the license firm's name on that sign. And what's interesting is that the name, like for example, Southern Classic Realtors, has to be the same or greater than the agent's name. The telephone number has to be the same thing. It has to be the same or greater than the agent's telephone number. So keep that in mind. We see a lot of those issues out there, and they need to be really put into a position that we're staying in compliance with that. Also, the logo or standalone name. Again, the logo, if you have a team name or team logo with your company logo, Southern Classic Realtors, for example, I've got, let's say, a team of the Hamby team powered by Southern Classic Realtors, and let's say there's the Hamby Team logo, that Hamby Team logo cannot be bigger than Southern Classic Realtors logo. Also on advertising of magazines, when you see, let's say 6 or 8 agents advertise in a listing book, you've got to make sure that the company is in there as well as a telephone number. The reason being is that the Real Estate Commission wants the consumer to be able to get in touch with the broker of the company without having to go through that licensee, which makes good sense. So if there's an issue, they can certainly do that. While advertising as a principle, if you're selling your own real estate property and you convey that to a consumer, you have to make sure through a material relationship, specifically in the contract, that you are a licensed agent in the state of Georgia, and that enables the consumer to know that you know what you're talking about when it comes to real estate law, and you want to make the playing field as fair as possible. So make sure when you're advertising any of your property and you put that on MLS and you put that out there for the public to see, that you've got to make sure you're conveying that you are a licensed real estate agent. So keep that in mind. One last thing, a licensee shall make every reasonable attempt in advertising to ensure the public knows that they are being contacted by a licensee. So I hope today that this information that came off of GREC's website, you can go to the Georgia Real Estate Commission, you can click on the laws, pull up all the rules under 520, which is what I did right here. This particular topic was actually 4 pages. I know it's a little bit of information that I wanted to get conveyed out today, and just trying to keep everybody in compliance, making sure that we're doing the right job and taking care of our customers and our clients, and making sure that when we do advertise that we're following all the rules and regulations laid out by the Georgia Real Estate Commission. So again, I hope this has been very beneficial to you. I hope it's helped. And again, if you don't know, either A, talk to your broker, or B, revert back to the Real Estate Commission and go look at this Rule 520 yourself. It's very simple to find. Rule 520-1-09, advertising. All right, guys, until next Friday, I hope it's been good for you. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Tomorrow, Georgia takes on Vandy for homecoming, so go Dogs on that. And I really appreciate everybody's interest today in staying tuned in with Friday Fun Facts with James. All right, guys, take care. See you next time. Enjoy your weekend.